Thank you, Adrian, and season's greetings to you for the 2023-24 Premier League campaign. Some new hands interspersed with the familiar old faces, with reputations to be enhanced and heroes to be made, as well as champions to be crowned. The benchmark of success varies wildly across the adversaries, but it is at this point the players and fans alike allow ourselves to indulge in optimistic fantasy, surveying the new campaign, believing that this will be the year. It's the making and breaking of those dreams that so captivates us, enthralled at the prospect of 9 months of absorbing drama, of the fresh pages of history that will be written, the unforgettable moments to be experienced as they happen. For now, the new campaign, a blank canvas, with the first brushstroke to be applied here at the foot of the Lancashire Moors. Time now for the artists to get to work to see how that new picture will develop. Burnley have 5 debutants tonight, including teenage winger Luca Kolyosho and the most recent acquisition, Sam de Burge. It's Trafford in goal, facing his former club almost immediately after his £19 million move north. Abakil, O'Shea, Bayer and Vitinho the back four. Burge, Cullen and Roberts in midfield. Kolyosho, Foster and Amdouni haven't kicked a ball in the Premier League between them so far, and they are the front three. For City, Edison's in goal, Walker, Akanji and Ake likely back three, with Lewis and Robbery in midfield. Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Alvarez and Foden, with Haaland, who scored a hat-trick against the Clarets last season, up front. On the benches for Burnley, Muric, Cork, Brownhill, Goodmanson and Benson, Redmond, Ekdal, Zaroury and Brun Larsen. And the City subs are Ortega, Phillips, Kovacic, Grealish, Laporte, Sergio Gomez, Guardiol, Palmer and McAtee. And Turf Moor is absolutely bouncing.
It certainly is, Jim. It's great to be here. I'm so looking forward to the season ahead. What a journey, what a fascinating watch it's going to be, as ever. But I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this one tonight to see what this Burnley team can offer against such an accomplished outfit.
What constitutes success for Burnley?
Well, obviously survival, but I think sticking to their belief, playing the football that Vincent Kompany wants them to play week in, week out. And really and truly, first season back in, it's just about keeping your heads above water. I got a feeling this team are going to be okay. I do. I think out of all the promoted teams, I feel more for Luton and Sheffield United. I think this team here just might be an awkward game for some of the Premier League establishment.
Well, it's something that I'm sure we'll talk about during the game, but sides that have been promoted from the Championship with more than 100 points have always been absolutely fine. Burnley got 101 last season, and history would suggest that retaining their Premier League status, whilst there won't be a formality, is something that they would expect to be able to achieve. But a big night for so many of these young Burnley players tonight. We talked about James Trafford. It might, in many ways, I guess, be a little bit easier for him tonight because he knows all the players he's playing against and has faced them in training so many times.
Very true, yeah. Perhaps obviously different because this is the real stuff, Jim, but you're right. It's not like he's unaware of the way that these other guys will be raining the shots down towards him. So yeah, I think that's a good point. He'll be probably making one or two of those other Burnley boys very aware of some of the strengths if they haven't gone through them already. But Vincent Kompany seems like a coach that wants to make sure he dots every I and crosses every T. We'll see whether they can carry out a successful plan tonight.
Well, the referee tonight is Craig Pawson, just making his way back to the edge of the centre circle and reminding everybody that they will take a knee before this game starts. A new season, but the message remains that there is no room for racism. A few moments of relish quite like this one. The shrill sound of the whistle that signals that we are off and running. The start of another journey of unpredictability, maelstrom and magnificence between now and May. The 23-24 Premier League campaign is underway, live and exclusive on Talksport, as Manchester City seek history. Burnley kicking from left to right, in their famous claret and blue, and Manchester City in their change kit, the white shirts with the very dark green shorts. And they're attacking the end away to our left-hand side, the Jimmy McElroy stand in this first half. Ake playing a long ball forward, Foden going up for it, knocked away from him, and out of play for a throw to Manchester City. Alongside me, I'm delighted to say, the former Republic of Ireland international, Andy Townsend.
Yep, pleased to be here with you, Jim. And again, City already up on the halfway line, in possession of the ball. But the team in claret and blue aren't going to sit and watch and stand off. They're going to get after them, just like they did there. Just an early put in there on Kyle Walker.
Well, possession is going to be intriguing tonight. You'd expect that Manchester City will be able to dominate things.
Yep.
Of all the teams in the biggest 6 or 7 European leagues last season, City had more possession than anybody else. Then it came Barcelona. Then it was Burnley. They were third out of 140, 150, whatever the sample size was. Yep. So they also are used to playing the game a certain way. But they have started with a back three, which we weren't anticipating. It wasn't something that they did in pre-season particularly, but Connor Roberts dropping in on the right-hand side of a back five when Burnley don't have possession. It's City that work it forward here now with De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, little layoff from Rodri, looking for De Bruyne again, but it'll be knocked away very neatly by Amdouni. Over on the far touchline, he's done well, cuts back inside, wins the free kick from De Bruyne, which Burnley will take midway inside their own half. 0-0 on Talksport, 2 gone. Yeah,
back five it is to start with. Connor Roberts immediately dropping back in to that right wing back position. Al-Dakhil is the right of the three, with Jordan Bayer and Dara O'Shea.
Coutinho trying to bring the ball forward, just got caught in possession. And City, having turned it over, got it forward quickly. De Bruyne tried to shepherd the ball out of play and is able to do that and wins the first corner of the new season, which he himself will go over to take. 2.5 gone here on Talksport. Burnley 0, Manchester City 0. And De Bruyne across to take this. Rodri, the man that scored the only goal in the Champions League final, stands not too far from the penalty spot. Akanji actually stands on the spot itself. It's worked in short in towards Foden. Foden peeling away from the near post, then flicked back by Bernardo Silva for De Bruyne again. More air underneath this one towards the far post. Rodri down, and it's only taken Erling Haaland 3 minutes of the new season. The goal drought already over. Manchester City already lead. One cleverly worked set piece, and Haaland scores with his first touch of the season.
Certainly does. Incredible. Do you know, just before Kevin De Bruyne put that corner in, I was just about to say, from situations like this, Burnley don't want to concede. From something basic like a corner. You know, they played it short to Bernardo Silva, went back to De Bruyne, then it went back, it come into the box eventually, before Rodri it was who headed it back into the 6-yard box. And there is Erling Haaland with just a yard of space. Dara O'Shea is who just puts a hand on him, and then Jordan Bayer can't quite get there on that left foot, right on the 6-yard line. He just guides that into the corner to give City a lead.
Business as usual. Erling Haaland's longest run without a goal for 5 years comes to an end. Now the perfect start for his 23-24 campaign, his 53rd goal in 55 games for Manchester City.
I just saw Vincent Kompany, as soon as that ball hit the back of the net, I just looked at him in his technical area and he was out there clapping his players. Come on, come on, come on. You know, don't worry about it, pick your heads up, let's get on with it, let's keep going. It's the right attitude, but there's a rude awakening. Welcome back to the big time for these Burnley boys. Some of them never tasted Premier League football before. They know what it's all about now.
And the ball is cannoned off Vitinho here, and Manchester City will pick it up again in the midfield. It was Vitinho's error in possession that led to the corner from which Manchester City scored. And you were talking before the game, Andy, about the difference between playing in the Championship and the Premier League for those that have not got the top flight experience. It's the mistakes that kill you, like they don't anywhere else. Here's De Bruyne now from distance, and Trafford lets that one sail over his bar. He had to take a nervy step back for a moment, but looked and watched, and the ball cleared the bar by about a foot and a half. But it's all City, and they lead 1-0.
Yep, it is all City. In that customary position on the halfway line with the ball at their feet and looking for Julian Alvarez and Phil Foden. Good to see him back in a starting lineup for City. He'll want a good campaign this year, a good solid start. And Kevin De Bruyne there, who we know that has been suffering a little bit pre-season. Saw him in the Community Shield last week, didn't we? And we've seen him already quite influential, taking that corner, eventually whipping the ball in before Erling Haaland gives his team the lead.
Well, they do ordinarily get out the traps very quickly, Manchester City. They've won on the opening day in 11 of the last 12 seasons, the sole exception being a couple of years ago when they lost to Spurs. There's pressure put on Ederson here as he tries to play out from the back. He worked it in towards Rico Lewis and just got it away, the young Englishman in the midfield, with three in claret and blue converging on him. Burnley fans appreciating that. And Koleosho played inside the penalty area. Amdouni, the man, has gone down, and the referee waves the penalty appeals away. The VAR will be having a look to check the incident. It is Michael Oliver that's on VAR duty tonight, but Craig Pawson's initial on-field decision is no foul. You're just looking at a replay now, Andy. Yeah,
the ball was thrown into Amdouni. Akanji is tight to him in the box. He kind of turns him, rolls him a little bit. I don't think there's anything like enough contact there to warrant Craig Pawson going to have a look at that or even pointing to the spot.
So Manchester City will now play out from the back, and Ederson plays it forward towards Akanji. Akanji into the feet of Lewis. Akanji back for Ederson again. Foden on the halfway line, wanted to make an early darting run and try and get goals out of Connor Roberts, but he needed the early ball to be played for that to be successful. Ederson instead takes a more conservative approach, just bringing it out from the back and waiting for pressure to be applied now, in the same way that Jason Steele approaches things for Brighton, coming out from the back and just stopping. Ederson chipping into the midfield, but Burnley won it back, and Amdouni this time is given a shot by Walker, and it's a free kick to the Clarets and towards the left-hand touchline. We're only about 10-12 yards adrift to the edge of the penalty area.
What we've already seen in the opening 8 minutes is that when City have got it at the back and they do want Burnley to come and press, well, they're not disappointing them. They're going right in after them, man on man. They're really hunting that ball down, chasing City, trying to see if they can force a mistake and pinch the ball back. They're not going to just sit back and sit off and allow City to do whatever they want.
So there are two separate groups of three for Burnley around the edge of the penalty area here. Bayer the furthest for the centre-half, actually standing in an offside position. City drop back in. Free kick is swept in deep. Out the kill. Maybe given a little shove. He's claiming it, but only really in hope rather than expectation. It came off his head and went out of play for a goal kick that Ederson will take. We're 8.5 minutes into the new Premier League season. It's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1 on Talksport. And here's the former Villa captain, Andy Townsend.
Yep, and again, once that goal kick was given, Ederson immediately rolls it completely square, 5 yards to Akanji. And Burnley looking to press, looking to wait for that ball that might go into Rico Lewis or into Rodri to see if they can go and pinch that and get after that.
Foden again making an early run forward, taking Roberts, who's on the right of the Burnley back five, with him, but once more there wasn't the early long ball played forward. Rico Lewis has got it in midfield. Works it back for Akanji. He's making his 50th Manchester City appearance today. Now it comes down towards Nathan Ake. Ake, who wasn't fit enough to feature in the Community Shield last week, but returns today. Back for his goalkeeper. Great jump by Foden on the end of the long ball from Ederson this time. And Rodri can turn it back in the midfield for Ake, who will run round it and play back to his goalkeeper again. Now the pressure applied by Koleosho, the young American-born Italian under-19 international that they signed from Spanish football. Is certainly caught the eye in his brief time in the professional game. He arrived from Espanyol on a £2.5 million deal. The ball's gone out of play for a throw. The City will take over on the far touchline. And with the first 10 minutes of the new season behind us, it's pretty much what we'd have expected, apart from the fact that the goal was scored as early as it was. 1-0 Man City.
I think it's still pretty much Erling Haaland's only touch. I don't think he's touched it again since, hardly. But what an important one it was, and he'll be absolutely thrilled. We're talking about this little run that he's been on without goals. Well, that immediately puts that to bed, and now he's looking for a second one.
Foden making his way forward, foul by Koleosho. Haaland scored a hat-trick when these two sides met in the FA Cup quarter-final last season, a game that ended 6-0 to City, with Alvarez getting a couple. And Cole Palmer, who scored the goal in the Community Shield last week, has been linked with a move to West Ham this week, and he scored that day as well. Foden, who was fouled, takes the free kick quickly. Quick exchange of passes with Ake, now swept in by De Bruyne. A diving header away came from Bayer. Rodri picking up a seconds on the edge of the area. De Bruyne hooking it back in. Haaland coming around the back and couldn't hit the target with an acrobatic attempt, when perhaps had he left it, Bernardo Silva might have been in a better position to do something constructive with it. Goes out of play for a goal kick. 11 minutes gone. 1-0 Manchester City.
Yep, De Bruyne floating everywhere really along in behind Erling Haaland, just floating anywhere he feels that the game takes him. There on the left side of the corner of the 18-yard box, eventually gets it onto his left foot, whipped across right towards that far post. Erling Haaland acrobatically going for it mid-air with his left foot, trying to steer it back on target. Couldn't quite do so.
Well, it's only the start of it this weekend for you. Don't forget, we've got the World Cup quarter-final live on the Talksport network tomorrow. The Lionesses in action against Colombia. It's a game that kicks off at 11:30 tomorrow morning. It's live on Talksport 2. And that means that our coverage of Coventry Middlesbrough in the lunchtime EFL game will start on the Talksport app. Also tomorrow, Arsenal beginning their title challenge here on Talksport. Reshman Chowdhury's got game day exclusive from the Emirates starting at 11. The Gunners match with Forest kicks off at 12:30 with our new signing Martin O'Neill alongside Scott Minto and commentator Sam Matterface. City, as things stand, will be top of the table when Arsenal kick off. Here's Trafford, full Burnley. Didn't concede a single goal in the magnificent progress that England's under-21s made through the European Championships to win the title. And Trafford already beaten barely 3 minutes into his Premier League debut tonight. It's his opposite number Edison that's got it now. Played for by him to Rodri into the feet of the retreating Alvarez, who's playing in central midfield again today. Now Akanji and a Kyle Walker on the right-hand side of this very stretched City back three. Ake on the other side has it, controls it with his left foot and comes back for Akanji, who's playing in the middle of the three. It's actually the first time those three have played together in a first-team game for City as the centre-half trio. Foden retreating and gets a foot on a ball that was played for by O'Shea. He's diverted it back inside his own area. It looks as though Walker maybe ran it out of play for a corner before clearing. Burnley allowed in possession to play on. It was deemed that the whole of the ball wasn't over the line. Clarence still have it. They work it back inside their own half with Coutinho, and here's Dara O'Shea again for Burnley, who trail 1-0.
Yeah, I do like the way Burnley are trying to press. They're brave in that respect. What they would like to do now when they turn the ball over, can they get a shot away? Can they have an attempt on the City goal just to keep this vibrant atmosphere right up the max, which is going to be very important for them.
Now those are the thoughts of Andy Townsend. 7 of the last 9 championship title winners have stayed up. 4 of the last 6 have actually finished in the top half of the Premier League table in their first season back up. Burnley hoping to emulate that. In possession here with Connor Roberts. Roberts to Sander Berge, who signed 48 hours ago on a £12 million deal from Sheffield United. Alderkeel, back for O'Shea. O'Shea in the middle of the 3 centre-halves for Burnley. Now Roberts leaning forward, controlled it with his shoulder rather than his arm. The lively Koleosho has it, turns his side onto his left foot, waits for the return ball. Taylor's worked it wide. It's back for Koleosho, edge of the penalty area. The move was brilliant, the finish less so, but that has given the Burnley fans something to cheer. An effort that goes over the top right-hand corner. 1-0 to Manchester City, but that was Burnley's best move of the game. Yep,
and absolutely, you feel the fans wanting and waiting for that little situation there. Really nice football from Burnley, patient across from one side to the other, and then eventually, just with that little cutting edge, a nice bit of movement. Koleosho's effort, curling effort, just always a little bit too high, but that's better. That's what they've got to do, have the courage to play and look for those teammates in those tight areas around the edge of the box, then get those efforts away on target.
Ederson will bring the ball forward here for City.
We saw Ortega doing this a lot in the Community Shield, walking the ball. Goalkeepers, we've seen Onana for United get caught out pre-season, sort of 10-15 yards outside, beyond the edge of the 18-yard box. Already we've seen Ederson Jim a lot, walking the ball out, waiting for that pressure to come, and then trying to play through that press.
Rodri's got possession for Manchester City in the Burnley half. Koleosho again putting the pressure on him, and he was able to lay it back for Ake comfortably enough, and now Akanji goes out of the Manchester City right for Bernardo Silva. I think we'll see a lot more of Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. That was where he finished last season, particularly in the big games. He would play on the right of the four in the 3-2-4-1, and that's where he started the new season. Phil Foden on the other side, the City left in possession now, and they had a run starting 5 successive Premier League games at the back end of last season, but didn't feature in the big European ties from the start, and it's something that will be driving him on this campaign undoubtedly. Ederson's got it again now, and Manchester City a goal to the good. 16 minutes gone, and Ederson once more slows things down past walking pace to a standstill before driving it forward for Haaland.
The goalkeeper's just tapping the ball with his foot 10 yards outside the box, saying, come on in, someone want to come and get it. And if you do, and if you press, and as Burnley what they're trying to do, they're having to press in numbers. There's no point in sending one, they've all got to go. And then of course Ederson, we know he's got the capability then of dropping one into Erling Haaland's chest, turning all those Burnley players around and getting running back towards their own goal. So again, always asking a question.
And he was fouled on this occasion by Jordan Bayer. Free kick taken by De Bruyne, and the great save from Trafford keeps it at 1-0. Flag up actually, and so as to say that was academic in the end. Oh, the Burnley defence did well to hold the line, bravely staying back as City ran past them. It was Rodri with a header on goal. Good save from Trafford diving to his right-hand side, and the replay shows that the assistant referee got it absolutely right.
He did. Great work from the officials. It was a free kick from Kevin De Bruyne, central, about 40 yards out. Burnley holding a line on the edge of the 18-yard box. Rodri just makes a little run. He's just gone a yard too soon, and he's correctly flagged for offside.
Yeah, good officiating from Simon Bennett. Here's Koleosho for Burnley, trailing 1-0. They're getting a foothold in the game now. Here's Cullen, one of the players that has got previous Premier League experience back in his West Ham days, although it was some time ago. Koleosho's caught the eye in the early stages, works it forward, and Ederson can make a comfortable save from Amdouni's low shot into a central area in the goal. Amdouni, a player that's arrived with a big reputation. He was playing in Swiss football last season, where he scored 7 goals in Europe and 15 in the league, but in his brief international career so far, he's got 5 in 5 for Switzerland, so pretty useful. And he's gravitating between the central position, the forward three, and the left. Yeah,
mainly Foster's been out on the left-hand side, and Dooney up the middle, but floating, dropping off, dropping in and around that little pocket, asking Akanji, do you want to come and mark me? Do you want to follow me in there? And a couple of times he's got himself into a good situation. Nice left foot shot there from an angle, comfortably saved by Ederson.
Ederson again very languid with his approach, bringing the ball out from the back. Into Foden's feet, had 3 around him very quickly. Koleosho has it, Cullen had won it back for him. Koleosho with Roberts making a run outside him. It's probably his first mistake. The teenager got the angle on the pass wrong. Lewis down by the corner flag is able to bring it under control, and then was fouled. He's trying to shepherd the ball over the line and out of play. It's gone down, he's actually holding his head. I don't know whether he got a bang to the side of the face from Koleosho, or whether it was his landing, or whether he came down and hit his head on the ground as he came down. But he's not happy, Rico Lewis, and it will be a Manchester City free kick.
He's actually done well to kind of mop that up, Rico Lewis, there, and eventually he gets surrounded and he gets shoved into the corner flag by Koleosho a little bit, goes down. It was unnecessary because they've got him absolutely where they want him, the Burnley boys there, but Koleosho just getting a little carried away, gives him a shove, sends him to the ground, and all the pressure is relieved.
Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Erling Haaland with the goal after 3 minutes and 3 seconds of the new Premier League season. He's off and running. Manchester City, hope that they are as well. Haaland this time has given a free kick away, leaning into former West Bromwich Albion defender Dara O'Shea. And O'Shea back on his feet very quickly, and he showed an awful lot of that. The Bernardo Silva was just able to rescue it. Now Trafford's got to play out quickly from inside the 6-yard box as Haaland put the pressure on him. It became a fight ball forward and City win it. De Bruyne trying to flick it past Roberts, succeeding in that regard, and then won back well by Cullen, and the Irishman finds his keeper and Trafford is able to clear. Hair and scare him at times. Burnley bring it forward again. There's a bit of grit and bite about them, as well as the fantasy football that they play. No doubt about that. There's the other hallmark of a Vincent Kompany team that we used to see from him as a player. Ake's put the ball out of play here because De Bruyne has got a problem.
He's got his hands on his knees, Kevin De Bruyne, and he's not happy. It looks like already someone's getting stripped on the bench. Can't quite see who that is yet for City, but that's a real shame, and that's a blow for Kevin De Bruyne.
The Kovacic, I would imagine, will be the player that is going to be called on. But a real concern as far as Pep is concerned. It's just in a discussion with Rodolfo Barral about exactly how things should be changed in the midfield. Kovacic for De Bruyne, quite like for like. Didn't see anything.
Didn't see how he did that, Jim. It wasn't like a challenge, or didn't see maybe he had the ball and he's tried to turn and he's just twisted something or moved awkwardly, but he is a figure of frustration right now, Kevin De Bruyne, as he walks off the field. He just looks really annoyed and fed up at the fact that already so early into the new season he's got a problem.
Well, you're listening to Burnley against Manchester City on Talksport with Now Sports. Don't forget though, with Now you can stream all of the Sky Sports action like Burnley against Manchester City live right now for $11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. Midway through the first half, Manchester City leading by a goal to nil. Tomorrow, Adrian Durham here for Game Day Live, bringing you all the goals as they go in from the opening Premier League games and the second week in the EFL. We've got more exclusive Premier League action for you tomorrow morning. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, 11 o'clock the build-up, ahead of a 12:30 kick-off. And on Talksport 2 tomorrow afternoon, West Ham's first match without Declan Rice. A trip to Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth. They've been much busier than the Hammers in the market. That kicks off at 3 tomorrow on Talksport 2. Here, 1-0 to Manchester City as Kovacic gets his final instructions.
Not even sure De Bruyne actually wanted to go off. He's kind of been overruled, I think, by all of the support staff. He's now kind of reluctantly gone off, giving Kovacic a pat on the head and sitting on the bench. He's clearly not right, but it's almost like he wanted to carry on. Let me have another 5 minutes, let me have another 10, just to see how it goes. But he's been overruled, and Kevin De Bruyne takes to a seat on the bench, and Mateo Kovacic comes in, which is a different feel, a different dynamic. There's no question that Kovacic has got many qualities. What he doesn't possess is what De Bruyne gives the team. So that in itself for Burnley is a little boost. Let's hope De Bruyne isn't out of action for too long.
He's not got 25 assists a season in him in the same way that Kevin De Bruyne has. What they've done, they've moved Foden out to the right-hand side of what looks as though it might now be a forward three. Alvarez on the left, Kovacic and Bernardo Silva playing ahead of Rodri, and a more orthodox back four with Rico Lewis dropping in at left back, as much as City fullbacks ever play in orthodox positions these days.
And that's sensible when you lose a man. And even for the best teams, just do something a little more basic perhaps, and just make sure that everyone knows where they should be.
Here's Phil Foden coming forward from his new position on the right-hand side of a forward three for City, but it's cannoned off him and goes through for James Trafford. De Bruyne just making his way down in front of the Manchester City fans away to our right-hand side, and he will make his way down the tunnel. He's moving fine.
He is. It doesn't look serious, does it, at all? Maybe purely precautionary, that one. This is a game where Guardiola feels anyone feeling anything, I'm not taking any risks at all. And there's a lot of common sense attached to that. And all the more so when you're 1-0 up. And they've got a big European game coming up in the week, of course, the Super Cup. They're taking on Sevilla in Athens this coming Wednesday. Currently Burnley 0, Manchester City 1 here. For the latest odds, head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Burnley at 25-1, the draw 7-1, and City 15-2 on
That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+. BeGambleAware.org. Ake is in possession for Manchester City. Haaland with the goal in the 4th minute, the 26th that City have scored against Burnley without reply since Robbie Brady became the last man to score for Burnley in this fixture. It is scored one of the last 42 goals in this fixture, Burnley.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva getting on the ball. He'd like to see a little bit more of it than he has so far. Julian Alvarez, who's got the ball right at his feet now, wide on City's left. Has hardly had a kick up to now.
Kovacic, who made his 500th career club appearance last week, playing it in towards Alvarez, who loses possession to Al-Dakhil, and he's turned one way and then the other, a neat pirouette, and Alvarez caught it and has fouled him. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Burnley in their right back position.
Just seeing Alvarez booting the ball away there, half expecting Craig Pawson to produce a card. He didn't. Maybe that was kind of almost as he blew the whistle for the foul. Alvarez kind of booted the ball away into the box.
So this free kick will be taken by Burnley in their right back position with goalkeeper James Trafford. Trafford, who started for Bolton last season, where he kept a clean sheet in every other game. High ball play forward by him, brought under control by Rodri, finding Lewis. Lewis turning on the left touchline and has given a free kick, given a throw away, which Conor Roberts will come forward to take. Koleosho trying to spin round the back of Lewis, but the throw taken instead back for Al-Dakhil. Al-Dakhil, who signed from the Belgian club St. Troyden back last January. Acclimatised to English football. And in possession again. And he's got it midway inside his own half as he finds Roberts. Roberts chipping it forward into space. Well, Foster's come back, picked it up and just tried to flick it away from Rodri. Couldn't succeed. City getting possession back. Have it again with Akanji. In towards Lewis. Lewis is the one that they press. Akanji beaten. Big chance. But out comes Edison. He's able to knock it away from Amdouni.
Great pressure once more. What they learn in Burnley very quickly is that no matter how good these players are against them, they do not like it when you get in and around them, when you pressure them, you force them into mistakes. Amdouni there, if he gets a better touch on the edge of the box, he's one-on-one with Edison.
Took Burnley a little bit of time to settle. Understandable opening night nerves perhaps, but they have settled now. Giving Manchester City plenty to think about. The succession of chances away to our left-hand side has long since dried up. It's 1-0 to Manchester City, but a pretty even contest over the last 10 minutes.
I totally agree, Jim. I think last 10-15 minutes Burnley have been excellent. Again, they just pinched it there, a square ball from Rodri, cut out. Foster has it.
And he's got it left-hand side of the penalty area. Amdouni is in there, it's across the face of goal, but wide. Foster just using the run of Amdouni almost as a dummy, and then he bent it around the defender and sent it across the face of Edison's goal, and it didn't beat the far post by much.
City been a little casual and sloppy in this spell where Burnley have picked it up, picked the pace of it up. They're now absolutely in the thick of the game. Vincent Kompany will be delighted with the team's response from going one down and again another careless pass.
And it's Koleosho that has it this time, and Rodri with an outstanding challenge on the edge of the penalty area denied Burnley a shooting opportunity. Lewis trying to get it away. Ake, his goalkeeper came out. Ake wanted to head it back to him, realised he couldn't, had to take a second touch, and Burnley's intense press is causing Manchester City increasingly significant problems here. City lead it 1-0. We've played 29 minutes. Here's Sander Berge in the midfield, finding Koleosho, who really caught the eye. Al-Dakhil bringing it forward from centre half. Just played the wrong side of Amdouni, and Akanji leaves it for his goalkeeper to come out and pounce. And there's an inquest in the City back line. I think they felt that maybe there should have been an offside flag in there at some point, but City will bring it out. And they lead 1-0. Burnley giving a very good account of themselves now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Every time City look to roll that ball into midfield or into those wide areas, there is a claret and blue shirt very, very close, looking to pinch it. Pep Guardiola 2 or 3 times has marched out to the edge of his technical area. to rewind and get about his players once or twice to say, sharpen your passing up. It's been careless, it's been a little sloppy. Don't want to invite anybody onto you in the Premier League. Certainly don't want to invite a vibrant, enthusiastic Burnley team whose crowd are on the edge of their seat here. They're waiting for their team to pinch that ball and rain more shots in towards Ederson. They've done terrific in that last 15 minutes, really good.
Well, it's a Burnley side that exudes confidence as well. They might. I mean, they've only been beaten once in the league in the last 9 months, which, as Adrian mentioned earlier, was a home defeat at Queen's Park Rangers. Back once promotion already been assured. That's 1 defeat in 26 and only 2 defeats in 43 league games. Well, this is a Burnley side that bears no relation now to that they played in the Premier League last time. Sander Berge just having a test of his footballing abilities as it was played briskly to him by Trafford inside his own penalty area. Burnley gave it away. It's out for a throw.
Yeah, James Trafford there trying to play in the box. I felt that one was a little tight.
Koleosho, he's just lost out for a moment. Brought under control here by Rodri. Rodri back for Lewis. Lewis to Mateo Kovacic for Manchester City. So strange to see somebody other than Ilkay Gundogan wearing that 8 shirt.
Indeed.
They lost Gundogan as they were expecting to do. Haven't lost Bernardo Silva over the course of the summer, and he's in possession now. He goes back from Silva to Rodri. Rodri playing it forward over the halfway line into the feet of Rico Lewis. Now Rodri back down towards Bernardo Silva again. 31 gone, and Manchester City leading at 1-0 here on Talksport with Jim Proudfoot and Andy Townsend talking through the action on a beautiful Lancastrian night tonight. Akanji 20 yards outside the penalty area. Goes to his left-hand side for Rodri. Flick round the corner. Alvarez to Foden. Foden to Bernardo Silva. Bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area. The referee had to take evasive action as the ball was laid back for Nathan Ake. Foden has it now. More Christmas from Manchester City in attack in this move. Silva has it again, but is forced back. Koleosho making sure that he plays it back inside his own half for Ake, and Burnley again have done well to withstand any Manchester City threat, although they haven't got the ball back.
Yep, did well there and just forcing City backwards. Of course, City keeping the ball. It's with Rodri now right on the centre circle. Bernardo tucked in a little bit more, far more effective. He will be happier playing in there in the thick of it.
Haaland made an early run. It's worked wider instead. A chance for City to bring forward here with Kyle Walker. Lay off from him for Akanji. Alvarez making a run from deep, and it was in towards him, but Alderkill, the taller of the two, got it away. Back forward from Bernardo Silva, laid off immediately by Alvarez. And now to come back for Bernardo again. Alvarez making a darting run ahead of Ake. Ake will just ignore that, bring it forward. Alvarez dropped in behind Ake and receives the pass. Back for Bernardo Silva again. Into Foden. And back for Bernardo. Down to Rodri. Down for Ake. Ake 5 yards in from the left-hand touchline. Another early run from Haaland. Passed up. Rico Lewis has got it. Comes into a more central area here. The Manchester City left back. Kovacic. Down towards Bernardo. His left-footed ball inside the penalty area. Miscue clearance from Jordan Bayer. Picked up by Kyle Walker. Little 1-2 between him and Akanji, but Coutinho stops Walker getting the ball in, and it goes out of play for a throw on the Manchester City right. They lead 1-0.
Yep, Phil Foden with the ball again. About 30 yards out. Rodri now central. They're just waiting for that right moment to deliver in the box for Erling Haaland. Happy to take that, sorry Jim, happy to take that extra pass, looking for the right moment to deliver that.
Yeah, sorry Andy, here's Kovacic bringing it forward, flicked on brilliantly round the corner by Foden. Little pirouette, he took it on with his Achilles as he did a half turn past the Burnley back line. It was magnificent skill, but in the end a touch a little bit heavy and Trafford could come out and gather.
Fabulous skill from Phil Foden. It was just a fraction behind him, the ball from Kovacic. So what's he do? He just flicks it almost over his shoulder and then turns his body. Really good work from James Trafford to deny him.
City winning it back again in the midfield. Another good sliding challenge. Alvarez in the central area, clipped forward towards Haaland. Another one of those nights where, and he's had a few of them, Haaland's glad he's not getting paid by the touch, but his goal bonus was assured in the very early stages of the game. He does what he does, and does it to such good effect. He's hardly featured, but an omnipresent threat with a capital O.
Yeah, City better last 5 minutes. A sloppy little period, and Burnley got their tails up. Now they're back with the ball at their feet, asking the questions. Important period this for the home team.
A lovely turn from Foden, and Walker can deliver it in towards Alvarez. Time to take a touch or two, and Haaland puts it in for 2. He's done it again. Long periods of the game where he's hardly involved, but put it in the right position for him, and he puts it in the right position for you. That is a magnificent finish, left-footed on the turn off the underside of the bar. He's probably had 4 kicks tonight, 2 of them are goals. It's Burnley 0, Manchester City 2.
Just an unbelievable finish, that. I just got the sense there, just for a couple of minutes, that City had just sorted out a few of the issues where they were a little careless in possession. They were giving it away and they were inviting Burnley onto them. All of a sudden they're knocking it around in Burnley territory, and eventually the ball goes wide to Kyle Walker. He cuts it back, and then a little set for Erling Haaland, who whips it first time on that left foot. It hits the underside of the bar and just ends up nestling in the corner of the goal. And you're right, Jim, he hasn't been involved that much, but he doesn't have to be, this guy. It's not like he's coming in from the cold every time he gets a chance. He just looks like he's able to take them wherever they come to him. And he's had, as you say, 4 or 5 touches, and he's already up and running with 2 here.
6 hat-tricks he scored in Manchester City colours before tonight. The most recent of the half dozen coming against Burnley in that FA Cup quarter-final last season. And he's got 2 to his name this evening. And here come Burnley once more, looking for a response with Amdouni, but he's just been cut off on the edge of the penalty area. One back by Koleosho, and a right-footed effort deflects away. It was well struck by Foster. Defenders in front of him, and it hit the closest, possibly Ake, and spoons way out for a Burnley corner.
Yeah, City just dwelling on the ball on the edge of their own box. It was Bernardo Silva, actually. Good work from Amdouni. In the end, the ball comes into Foster. He tries to hit it first time, just like Erling Haaland did moments ago, but this time Akanji is there to smother it out for a corner.
That corner which will be taken by Josh Cullen on the Burnley right-hand side from out of our view. Now the ball's swept in towards the far post. Going up for an Amdouni, it's cleared away from him. A ball under control by O'Shea, but he's passed it straight through the midfield of Rico Lewis. And for a moment it was 4 against 2, a Manchester City counter-attack. Burnley have got bodies back, have regained their shape, and Coutinho's actually ended up giving a free kick away. He thought he'd won it cleanly. But Burnley did well to recover, because that was a perilous situation for them for a moment on the counter. He's fouled Alvarez, it's a free kick to City. Yeah,
they did do very well there, you're right. Really sprinted backwards to try and get back behind the ball. Bit of a careless pass from Dara O'Shea, played it blind infield straight into the path of Rico Lewis, who travelled 30-40 yards with the ball, but just delayed the pass, and eventually Burnley were able to recover, but they conceded a free kick wide here.
So it's to the right-hand side of the penalty area. The one-man wall is Koleosho, and everybody else expecting an aerial ball into the centre of that penalty area, where Haaland on a hat-trick is lurking in an offside position at the moment. Right-footed ball in from Alvarez. Rodri and Ake both going up for it. The latter the closer. There's a push by Kovacic. Craig Pawson on hand to see that, and is given a free kick which will be taken by Burnley inside their own penalty area. 6 to go to half-time. Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. It's not just live football on the Talksport network this weekend. We've got a rugby union double-header for you tomorrow, the Summer Nations Series. England face Wales at Twickenham, the Scots in St Etienne away to France. That's England-Wales at 5, France-Scotland at 7:30 over on Talksport 2. We'll also bring you live heavyweight action as Anthony Joshua faces a late replacement in Robert Hellenius live at the O2 Arena. Our expert team made up of presenters Adam Catterall and Gareth A. Davis, and we'll hear from Andy Clark and Spencer Oliver, the former super bantamweight champion, bringing you the fight. Joshua Hellenius, Fight Night live, free to listen to right here on Talksport from 9 tomorrow. Here's Lewis down by his own corner flag, and he's cleared, and the ball has come off Alderkiel, goes out of play for a goal kick which will be taken by Edison. Incidentally, Rico Lewis you may remember 20-25 minutes ago, went down. It looked as though there wasn't an awful lot wrong with it. It went down by the corner flag. Replays have shown he got hit in the face by a lighter, which was thrown at him, and that's the reason that he was down.
What's the matter with these people? Come to a game to watch the game. What on earth are they doing? I sincerely hope, and I'm sure they will, the authorities will have cameras on all of those areas. Hopefully we'll find out whoever that was.
Now Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, back for Alvarez again. Now comes down towards Ake. Yano from the left-hand touchline plays it back to Rodri. Manchester City leading by 2 goals to 0. And looking set there for a 13th straight win against Burnley as things stand at the moment. Burnley's last win in this fixture coming back in 2015 when George Boyd scored in front of the Jimmy McElroy stand away to our left-hand side. Here's Bernardo Silva. And him to Kovacic, for Bernardo Silva again. Layoff comes in the midfield from Foden. Now down towards Ake. City taking the sting out of the Burnley press by just intelligently working the ball from side to side. Burnley running but chasing shadows at the moment. And City in a much greater sense of control over the last 5-10 minutes than in the 10-15 that have preceded it.
Certainly since they got that second goal. Rodri in that pivot position at the base of City's midfield. He's the one that gets the ball more often than not, and he invites people. He drags people under the ball, and that of course creates spaces wide and perhaps in and around where Erling Haaland is for others. I think Burnley have given a good account of themselves. They've gone and said about it in the right fashion. What they've come up against tonight is, and they've found all about everything that they've read about Premier League football, everything they've watched with Premier League football, they've witnessed it tonight. They've been a match for City, they've been competitive, but when it's mattered, they've been punished big time, and that's why they're trailing by 2 goals.
City have worked it forward long on this occasion. Coutinho sprinting to make sure that Kyle Walker didn't get a run to the ball. And it'll be picked up by the Burnley goalkeeper James Trafford away to our left-hand side. Burnley 0, Manchester City 2, with Haaland scoring on 4 and 36 minutes. Koleosho, lively start. Burnley haven't been able to get the ball into him in the last 15. Kovacic has it now, put under pressure by Sander Berge. Attendance tonight just a shade over 21,500 here at Turf Moor. A sellout, vibrant atmosphere, but understandably that atmosphere punctured just a little bit by the second goal from Erling Haaland.
And that's the one that will really hurt the Burnley players. And they've just got to accept that again and believe that they can strike next.
Out of field as well. Koleosho trying to work the ball forward. Foster making an obedient run for him, but couldn't get on the end of it. Just a 1 goal in 16 Burnley games as leader of the line. The South African striker who arrived here at Turf Moor back in January. One of those players that his movement's so good, there's more to his game than merely the raw numbers, but 1 in 16 for a striker, no matter how good your movement is, will maybe weigh a little bit heavily on your shoulders. Here's Akanji. 4 from Akanji to Kovacic. And then Akanji gets it back and works it back for Edison. The City very successfully at the moment, getting things down towards half-time. Always a bit of a lottery now with the new regulations in terms of time. Beforehand, Andy, I've seen a lot of football broadly predict most games how much extra time you're going to get at the end of each half. I haven't a clue at the moment.
No, I wouldn't have thought too much.
Wouldn't have thought so. There was the one stoppage for the De Bruyne injury. That's been about it. So, and the couple of goals, of course, there'll be a bit for that. Yeah, what they're doing now, they're actually recording how much time is lost when the goal is celebrated, and they are adding that on. It's not just a nominal, we'll add on 30 seconds per goal. They're having a look to see exactly how long it is. So maybe 3-4 minutes to be added at the end of this first half. It could be 5, I'm being told. We've got a minute before we find out for sure. Akanji, forward towards Alvarez. Alvarez getting it back again. And now back for Manuel Akanji once more. Rodri, the heart of the midfield. Rico Lewis making an early run. Roberts went with him every step of the way, and the ball wasn't forthcoming anyway. Back for Rodri, almost on the edge of the centre circle. Down to his right for Manuel Akanji. Burnley forced back inside their own half, keeping a very disciplined shape. Back three that started this game. Rodri has it again now. Again put under pressure by Birch, but finding Ake. And certainly putting a shift in those Burnley players, but Manchester City with the ability now to just maintain possession easily as confirmation of the 5 minutes added on the end of the first half. Bernardo Silva down towards Ake. Ake going up through the gears and bringing it forward, finding Rico Lewis. Down from him to Kovacic once more. Haaland just straying offside as Kovacic looked up. See whether there were any direct options on for him.
Just that press, obviously, with that second goal going in. That press has just disappeared a bit.
It's chipped over the top here for Foden. And still he has it, Phil Foden. And couldn't work into his left-hand side for Haaland. Now the flag comes up. And Foden offside. It looked as though probably both Foden and Haaland were offside as the ball was initially played forward. But the directive remains for the assistant referees that when it is tight, you have to let things go. And it looked much easier a decision than it actually was. It was, seeing the replay, very tight.
Very, very tight there. So absolutely the flag stays down for that. We know this season, as you say, Jim, when they're blatantly offside now, rather than waiting, then the assistant referees are going to get those flags up early, which of course is what we all want to see. But that one was a tight call. He had every right there, the official, to keep that flag down and see what develops.
Roberts for Burnley, back for O'Shea, who had a couple of dozen games in West Bromwich Albion's relegation campaign from the Premier League. He arrived here on a £7 million deal earlier this summer on the back of a couple of excellent campaigns in the Championship for the Baggies. There's a little trick and a flick there from Jordan Beyer that didn't come off as he stepped up from the defensive line, and he gave it away, and that will frustrate company.
Yeah, it's the second time Jordan Beyer steps in with the ball at his feet. He's quick, very quick across the ground, but he's got to take care with that ball when he knocks it. He's given it away a couple of times.
So they're playing with three centre-halves, but Alba Keel on the right of the three is the one that is given the most licence to push forward into almost the defensive midfield position.
Yep, whenever Julian Alvarez drops in and drops deeper, he goes in with him.
Cullen back for O'Shea. O'Shea on his dead ball line, making sure he didn't concede a corner, poked it away and almost poked it straight to Alvarez.
He actually popped it through Alvarez's legs there. I hope he called it as well when he done it, Jim. Because it was a brilliant nutmeg. He didn't mean it.
Nutmeg called with relief rather than relish, let me tell you. Here's Ake, City 2-0 up with 3 minutes of stoppage time having elapsed of the 5.
Yeah, and looking comfortable now. It's got to be said. City doing everything at their pace, in their time. Ball is with Ederson. He knocks one into Rodri, and they go straight back to the goalie again. They're not in a rush to do anything.
Ederson back for Rodri, and then Ederson so calm, just trots back. Rodri, had he not got there, would have scored an own goal, but Ederson made it look as though there was no panic from anybody and just came back, controlled it almost in the shadow of the bar and got it away.
It's just a little bit of a heavy touch from Rodri. It's always awkward when you're a midfield player, and City can do it, they do it brilliantly, but whenever a goalie gives you a straight ball, you know you're going to have someone breathing down your neck. So if that first touch isn't great, and sometimes people can just pinch it off you, and Rodri, that's what happened there. Ball into him from the goalkeeper. It was firm enough, but his touch was just a little off. And nearly gave Burnley a chance to pinch it.
Trafford on the edge of his own penalty area for Burnley, the goalkeeper slams it forward. Taylor trying to help it on.
I wonder what Vincent Kompany will do at half-time. Just looking at his team now, they've really worked hard, and it's not easy when you're watching City knock it about. They're dragging you under the ball, as I mentioned, and then knocking it through. Just wonder if he'll be tempted to make at least one change at half-time, just to keep those energy levels right pepped up.
There's plenty of experience on the bench in the midfield, the likes of Cork and Brownhill and Benson, who really caught the eye in his first season here at Turf Moor last time around. Signed a new contract over the last week, and he's waiting in the wings as well. In the last knockings of the first half, in which Burnley had a really good 15-minute spell, but City started well, they've ended very well as well. And they're 2 goals to the good. Rodri has it and will turn and bring it out towards the edge of the centre circle. Craig Pawson puts whistle to mouth, but City allowed to keep going for a moment. Only for a moment. And Bernardo Silva has the last touch of the first half. Big applause from the Burnley supporters around us. They like so many facets of what they've seen, but when it comes down to it, they're playing the European and English champions, and they find themselves 2 goals down at half-time. Erling Haaland scoring with his first touch of the new season in the Premier League, and probably with only about his 4th or 5th. A brilliant finish for him that time. He's got 2, and Manchester City 2 up at half-time, away to Burnley. And the Lancashire Moors behind the long side here at Burnley. The lights are on and the houses, the chimney, you can still just about see it as it pokes through over the top of the stand on the far side, but not very much falling here. And Manchester City have already all but put the lights out on Burnley. 45 minutes in, City had spells of excellence, not necessarily on a consistent basis throughout the half, but they lead by 2 goals to 0, and we're back underway. Manchester City white shirts, dark green shorts, and they're kicking from left to right. Burnley attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand away to our left hand side, and they're claret and blue. Run through the 2 teams for you in a moment. Ake's got possession here for City. And it's just played forward into the centre circle for Rodri, down towards Kovacic, who came on as a first half substitute for Kevin De Bruyne. Walker now working it round the corner for Phil Foden. Foden finding a couple of yards of space off Sander Berge, which he didn't really in the first half. And then as it's played back to him by Rodri, couldn't find that same space off Josh Cullen. And Burnley will be able to bring it forward quickly. And Koleosho has an opportunity to run at Nathan Ake. Little reverse ball inside the penalty area, but too far ahead of Foster. And it goes through for Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson. Alongside me is the former Ireland international Andy Townsend.
Yep. 2 goals up, Manchester City. And again, they'll be looking to put this game to bed as soon as they possibly can. A third will, of course, do that. Just a chance there for Koleosho. Maybe just a little more care required from the home team when they get in and around the edge of the 18-yard box.
Foden chipping it forward, but it just go straight through the goalkeeper James Trafford for Burnley, who's got a back 3 in front of him, with O'Shea as the sweeper, Bayer and Al-Dakil either side. Coutinho playing at left back, Connor Roberts is playing at right back. Trafford put under pressure here by Haaland, gets it away. And then Foster's playing on the left-hand side of the midfield for Koleosho on the right. Berge and Cullen in the middle, and Amdouni playing through the middle. He's had a couple of half chances where a slightly better first touch might have given him a very presentable opportunity. City lining up Ederson in goal. Started as a back 3, became a back 4 after the substitution. So it's Walker, Akanji, Ake and Lewis. And then in midfield, Rodri with Bernardo Silva and Kovacic ahead of him. And then Foden, Alvarez wide of Haaland, who just drops back in and picks up possession now. Foden to Rodri. City leading by 2 goals to 0. Haaland on 4 and 36 minutes. First of 4 live Premier League games that we've got for you on opening weekend here on the Talksport network. Ball played down to the left-hand side for Al-Dakil, making his way a little bit further forward from the back through the midfield. Now Sander Berge. Layoff comes from Foster, back for Al-Dakil again. Berge just behind squares, got Cullen. Cullen turning it round the corner for Bayer, who's made his move from German football permanent over the summer. Now they look forward for the run of Coutinho from left back, and it's cleared by Ederson, but slightly more willingness for the Burnley full-backs in this back 5 to push forward in the early stages, particularly Coutinho. The City win it back and will bring it forward now with Kyle Walker, and he's just come into Burnley territory.
Yep, and he resets back into the centre circle, where Rodri, of course, as ever, picks it up and dictates exactly the way City are moving forward.
Ake, Lewis making a run, the pass of the ball perfectly timed but not perfectly weighted, and Burnley were able to knock it away with Roberts. Now the South African Foster has it, played by him down towards the left hand side. Coutinho frustrated there wasn't more accuracy on the pass. He hung his head, he still chased after it very willingly, but he knew as soon as the pass was played that it was a little bit too hot, and City had it back with Rodri.
Yeah, that's been a little disappointing, I think, the final ball from Burnley. The application, can't fault that whatsoever. The fact they're 2 down against this particular team, that happens. There'll be better teams than this Burnley team suffering the same fate, but they just need to tidy up their final ball into the box, that releasing of that pass at the right time, so as they give their forward players a chance to maybe work Ederson.
Burnley got it to the back again without the kill, and he'll chip it across the edge of his own penalty area out towards the right hand side. No side promoted to the top division with more than 100 points has ever been relegated. The last was Wolves. They came 7th in their first season up in the Premier League back in 2019. In fact, the lowest of those was Leicester, who finished 14th. Coming forward again, Foster for Burnley. Little layoff towards the edge of the penalty area. Lacked the necessary care and just gave Ake and Rodri the opportunity between them to sweep up and knock it away. And then Manchester City will try and play it forward towards Haaland, but Bayer was there to win it back from him and try and get them going again. O'Shea playing it forward. Amdouni, now Cullen. Burge. Back for Dara O'Shea once more, and the Irishman turning it forward to his compatriot Cullen. O'Shea then turns and goes back for his goalkeeper Trafford with 5 minutes into the second half. Burnley 0, Manchester City 2 on Talksport. Yeah,
to their credit, Burnley, when they are in possession of the ball, they've got plenty of options in front of it. And you need that. So that's brave and that's courageous. And of course, there are going to be times where Haaland's one-on-one, and if they lose possession or if City turn it over, then they could be in trouble. But that's where they find themselves now. At 2 down, they either have a go and see if they can respond and get back in it. If they get one, we're going to have a rip-roaring atmosphere. If they do, of course, if City had a third, then it's going to be game, set and match.
Burnley possibly changed the shape for this second half.
4. Yep.
Abdelkill now playing at left back with Connor Roberts at right back, and that's seen Vitinho pushing forward down the left.
Yes, and he's been quite prominent at the start of the second half. I think they'll drop in, he'll drop back and drop in and make it a 5 if they really have to, Jim, but where they can, they're now trying to see if they can have better options ahead of the ball.
Foster's done well to win the ball back from Kovacic in the midfield. A little bit more possession at the start of the second half for Burnley. Abdelkill working it forward. Foster's got it again. Cleared though unceremoniously by Akanji, just more than happy to whack it away. And it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Burnley left. So both sides have started with a back 3. Both have now got a back 4. Here's Trafford. Haaland paying lip service at putting him under pressure, no more than that. His former teammate could get it away from him. Koleosho working it through the midfield, but Burge just stood and waited for the ball to get there, and it didn't. Picked up, Haaland played in, left-hand side of the penalty area. There's a deflection on the cross-come shot, which goes out of play for a corner.
He's just such a menace, isn't he, Erling Haaland? Whenever he runs with intent to get on the end of a through ball, you genuinely hold your breath. You really do feel like he's capable of absolutely anything. And he's at such a tight angle there, but we're all waiting for a shot to really work James Trafford. As it was, it gets deflected out and it's a corner coming in from City's left-hand side.
All of the Burnley players, apart from Koleosho, back inside their own penalty area as the corner comes in. It's half cleared. Rico Lewis allowed to let the ball bounce on the edge of the penalty area and then works it back. Akanji down towards Bernardo Silva. Left-footed ball scooped inside the penalty area. Bayer, and then an overhead kick comes in after his defensive header. It was Foden who hit it towards goal, hit the nearest defender, goes out of play for another corner.
Yep, just improvised, as you would expect Phil Foden to do there. The ball's kind of gone over his shoulder, but instead of just letting it go and letting it bounce and maybe running after it, he's thrown a leg up in the air to try and see if he can produce something acrobatic. Again, another corner.
So City's third of the game, second in quick succession, in from Foden towards Haaland at the near post and cleared. And then Rodri, slight miscue, but he's still got it back for Akanji, chipped over the top by Walker and headed away. And now comes back out towards the Manchester City left-hand side where Rico Lewis has it. Gets it onto his right foot, works it to Rodri. Rodri down towards Bernardo Silva. Boys, his presence at the club, or renewed presence at the club, a real boon for Pep Guardiola. Burnley clear. Romy as far as Walker. Lewis with the shock of black hair. Back down towards Rodri. Rodri under pressure from Burge. Well, his pressure he was able to withstand, but really Kovacic to be able to receive a brisk pass. Nice City working back inside their own half, and now Walker's going to be able to bring it away. We're 9 minutes into the second half here on Talksport, and Manchester City, as they were at half-time, still 2 goals to the good. Working forward here, Haaland taking him down, and it's swept up by Bayer, just got it back to his goalkeeper, and looked for a moment as though Haaland was there.
Yeah, that's what City do so brilliantly. It looked like there the Burnley press was just about to be put in place, and all of a sudden the goalie hits a 60-yarder.
And now Walker's won it back from Burge, and Trafford tips a long-range effort from Rodri over the bar.
Yeah, good strike, Rodri. I'm just saying there, when Burnley looked like they were going to press the goalkeeper, this time he goes 60 yards to Haaland direct, very nearly got in. Second half of that, Rodri picks it up with a little bit of room. Decent strike, straight at Trafford, who saves it comfortably. Another City corner. They're racking up these corners now.
And this latest one will be taken on the Manchester City right, and it's Julian Alvarez that's going to come out to take it. Bernardo Silva waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Lewis is on the edge of the D, but there are 6 of their teammates in the box itself, including Foden, who peels away from the near post, wanting it into feet. The header comes in, and Trafford saves it. It's Rodri again that came to meet it, powering a header into the ground towards the bottom left-hand corner. Trafford very sharp across his line, got down and made a comfortable stop.
Good header from the penalty spot, so he's coming a long way. Bounces before the goalkeeper, who picks it up nicely and deals with it.
Cullen under pressure on the edge of his own penalty area, but he got it away from Bernardo Silva. Burnley able to work it out towards the far touchline, which is their right. They trail by 2 goals to 0 on 14 of the last 17 league games here at Turf Moor, but up against a different class of opposition tonight. Abakil making his way forward from left back. Walker shepherds the long ball to him, over the line, out of play for a goal kick. Very well defended by Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
A big season coming up for Walker on the basis that he was, of course, was the man who was left out for the Champions League final, and very frustrated that was the case. But we're back in the starting lineup for this game tonight.
Yep, it is a big season for him, and you can never be quite sure with Pep Guardiola. Not 100%.
Haaland doing well to lead the line and come back and chest it down towards Alvarez, but he missed Foden with the pass.
See that ball there that the goalkeeper just knocked again, 65, 70 yards into the centre forward. That's what I think Guardiola was telling him as they walked off the pitch at half-time. Make yourself available a little bit more for that one. We'll play short, we'll drag them onto us, and every now and again the goalie's going to do that. Be ready for it.
Edison squeezes the ball through a very thin eye of a Burnley needle to get it forward towards Ake. Kovacic on as a first half substitute for Kevin De Bruyne, finding Kyle Walker. Walker back to Akanji, not too far outside his own penalty area. We're 12 minutes into the second half. 2-0 Manchester City lead. Tomorrow, don't forget, the World Cup quarter-final live on Talksport 2. Kicks off 11:30 with the Lionesses taking on Colombia. At 12:30 here on Talksport tomorrow, Arsenal get their season underway. At home to Nottingham Forest, who they beat 5-0 the last time they met them in North London, but it was, of course, that fixture that Forest won back in May that handed Manchester City the league title. Arsenal looking for revenge tomorrow, modicum of it anyway, and it's live on Talksport with game day exclusive from 11 with Reshmin Chowdhury and Martin O'Neill, our newest signing, alongside Scott Minto and the excellent Sam Matterface tomorrow. 12:30 the game kicks off in North London tomorrow. Build up from 11 on Talksport as Kovacic plays it back for Akanji inside the centre circle. And Manchester City not quite at the state where they're toying with Burnley, but they're finding possession very easy to come by. The errors, the unforced errors, have been eradicated, and City are in complete control.
Yeah, they are at the moment.
Akanji getting it out from the back. Pressure on Foster. A little bit of action on the benches on the far side. I wonder whether there'll be a Burnley change in the not too distant future. Bernardo Silva brings it forward for Manchester City, and he's able to venture forward 30, 40 yards before anything like a challenge comes in. Cullen tracks back, forces Bernardo to work it wide. Walker plays it straight back to the Portuguese, and they have it again now. Now Now Walker once more in possession, goes back for Rodri. Burnley slowly but surely getting hemmed in inside their own half.
I'm not sure how many passes this is, Jim, but this must be like 40 or 50. Here, City have gone up the field, back to the halfway line, back to the edge of their own box, back up the field, come back again. It's now at the feet of the goalkeeper on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he's just tapping it and moving out. But they've had the ball here for a serious spell. Burnley are trying to squeeze, but they're also afraid to, because the way City are manoeuvring this ball right now, they feel they'll get picked off.
Akanji back to his goalkeeper. Has been a trade of Manchester City seasons. They don't often, whilst having a good record on the opening day, maintain that necessarily over the first 10 games of a season. Have been beaten inside the first 10 games in each of the last 3 campaigns. Haaland's got it again now, and he'll run towards the edge of the penalty area. He slips it off for Alvarez. Alvarez with a slightly heavy touch, and that meant that when he got a shot in on his right foot, he was off balance. He's fired it some way wide.
Yeah, good play that. Lovely little clip ball from the goalkeeper to Phil Foden, turns it round the corner. Haaland shrugs off the challenge of Jordan Bayer, sets up Julian Alvarez. It's a poor shot, he's not quite been there tonight, Alvarez.
So it's a double change that's being made for Burnley, and they've taken off Koleosho and Amdouni, and they brought on Brun Larsen and Zaroury. So Jakob Brun Larsen, another one of the summer signings, a Danish international on loan from Offenheim, who can play as a left winger or sometimes as a second striker. He played under Kompany and Anderlecht. And the other player that they brought on, Zaroury, the Moroccan, who played once at the World Cup, 11 goals for Burnley last season. You're listening to Burnley against Manchester City on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all of the Sky Sports action like Burnley against Manchester City. It's live right now for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. Here's O'Shea for Burnley, trailing by 2-0 with an hour gone. And the ball is chipped down towards Alderkirk. So Coutinho still playing on the left-hand side. Brun Larsen is going to go out towards the right by the look of it. Coutinho just letting the ball roll off a City player and out of play for a throw. I'm no surprise that Vincent Kompany's made the change. With Koleosho, we were infusing about the first 15-20 minutes, then lacked service and then fell away.
Yes, and I think also just run out of gas a little bit, Jim. It's asking a lot for him to pick the ball up on the halfway line and travel 40-odd yards with it every time to try and make something happen. Did his best. I think early on in the game was quite effective at that, but right time for some fresh legs for sure.
So Brun Larsen gets his first touch, trying to control a long diagonal and turned away, but straight into Rico Lewis, who won it back. As Zaroury is playing through the middle, just off the shoulder of Foster. The ball is cleared from our left-hand side by Edison. No change to the score in this second half. 2-0 with those 2 Haaland goals. The first barely 3 minutes into the new Premier League season may well end up being the quickest goal of the weekend in the Premier League. Sure, it won't be the quickest goal of the weekend all told. We'll find out together tomorrow afternoon. Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in from not just the other opening Premier League games, but also the second week of the EFL. A reminder as well, Bournemouth West Ham tomorrow afternoon on Talksport 2. And on the Weekend Sports Breakfast tomorrow morning, Jordan Pickford amongst the guests, of which more in a moment as Manchester City concede a corner. Burnley getting it forward and winning their first corner of the second half, and Brun Larsen's been lively since coming on.
Yep.
That's Jordan Pickford, Everton and England #1, speaking in depth to Natalie Sawyer on Game Day Breakfast tomorrow from 6 on Talksport. Where there'll be reaction to tonight. Will there be reaction to a great Burnley comeback? They've got a chance of halving the deficit here. Corner which will be taken on the Burnley right-hand side. In towards the near post, Brun Larsen trying to flick it on. It went through the legs behind him of his teammate Foster, who couldn't react quickly enough. Coutinho picks up the loose ball and works it back to his keeper.
Yep, just for a split second the ball was in the loose in that City 6-yard area. Unfortunately, no claret and blue shirt anywhere near it. But they have the ball back. They've got some fresh legs, those changes. Brun Larsen, their chance, I felt, to get a a better delivery into the box. I think they're now at that point where they might need to do that. Yes, they'll want to keep possession, of course, but also they've got to try and take a chance or two.
Now Edison deals with a poor back pass from Lewis, gets it away, off balance, through the middle of the midfield, didn't get too much height on it, but it didn't fall for a Burnley player in a shooting position. Edison's now back in the right position, and then City win possession back as Walker intercepts a ball for Zaroury, cleared by the City back line. And Akanji now has got all the time in the world just to come forward towards halfway. As soon as he got there, though, he didn't want to go any further and turn it back towards Walker.
Yeah, very nicely dealt with. Kyle Walker's concentration when he's had to tonight, when he's had to match those runs from the likes of Vitinho and Foster. He's done it ever so well.
Ball chipped over the top, Haaland giving chase, and Bayer letting his goalkeeper come out and deal with it. Trafford heads it away from 25 yards out and puts it out for a throw that'll be taken over on the Manchester City left. 20 gone in the second half, and it's still Burnley 0, Manchester City 2. Burnley, after this, supposed to be going to Luton. Luton's ground's not ready yet, so that one's been postponed. So they've got Villa here next, and then Spurs here. So the first 3 games of the campaign, all at home. And then around that, they've got 2 trips to Forest, one in the League Cup and one in the Premier League. So it's not the most arduous start as far as Burnley are concerned. City, after the European Super Cup this week, have got Newcastle at home next, and then Sheffield United away before hosting Fulham before the international break.
Yes, so 2 of the new boys for the champions. We'll be watching that, I'm sure, this intently tonight. Sheffield United. They'll be working, I'm sure, as well, quietly behind the scenes to see if they can come up with something.
Sheffield United in action next weekend, incidentally, in this slot, Friday night. They're away at Forest, and Stuart Pearce will be alongside me for that one this time next week on Talksport. High ball forward and well dealt with by Edison. Came to the edge of his penalty area to catch it. Played out towards Rodri. Rodri towards Kovacic, and then Kovacic is put on the deck by Bruin Larsson's just shoved him to the ground, and it's a free kick. There has been a statement issued by Burnley regarding the incident in the first half. It says, we're aware of the incident that happened when a missile was thrown at Manchester City player Rico Lewis, which is unacceptable. The person responsible has been identified, removed from the ground by the police, and any individual found guilty of throwing missiles within the stadium will receive a banning order. So Burnley very quickly on the case, and the perpetrator of the incident is out, and I'm sure will receive a hefty ban. And Burnley very quick to condemn what had happened. Here is Lewis in possession, nice little layoff. City able to bring the ball forward. Haaland wants it in defeat. Rodri's going to keep going, and then as he fires it in, it's popped by Vitinho, goes out of play for a throw. Haaland turns away in dismay.
Yeah, lovely football from City to free Rodri, who quite rightly took great strides into the space that was in front of him. Erling Haaland had peeled away from Jordan Bayer, who was desperate for the Spaniard to roll the ball to him. He didn't.
Here is Haaland inside the penalty area, and it's going to deflect away, hit. The corner flag goes out of play for a throw, which City will take on this near touchline there right. We're midway through the second half. Still 2-0. Kyle Walker coming across to take the throw. He will leave it and walk back. And Alvarez will come across. I think the ball possibly hit the other side of the corner flag. It is indeed a corner, which will be taken on this Manchester City right. So again, Lewis and Silva waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Before the ball is fired in, Ake's gone down inside the box. Just given a little shove as before the ball was played. The referee, once he gets back to his feet, big grin on Ake's face and that of Connor Roberts. They were the two that were jostling for position. And they'll do it all again. City's 5th corner of the night. Alvarez to take it. They lead 2-0. Haaland getting free of his shackles, made a run in towards the near post. The ball was delivered deeper than that towards Akanji. Akanji with a little 1-2 here with Rico Lewis. Back from Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic to Walker. Walker, the deepest of City's outfield players, pings it down towards the City right-hand side for Alvarez, who again will cut in. Little ball flicked in, didn't quite get to Haaland. Ake still forward, making life difficult for the Burnley back line, but from an offside position. Burnley clear their lines, City pick it up straight away. The flag that was put up by the assistant referee gets put down again, and Burnley don't get the free kick, and that's what the cat calls are for.
That's why they're frustrated, the home fans. They wanted the ball, which unfortunately is now at the feet of City's goalkeeper once more. They're gamely and bravely trying to squeeze, trying to press, but of course at this stage of the evening, approaching 70 minutes, that pressure isn't quite as tight as it was in that opening spell where they were pretty effective at it. So City are comfortable now in teasing them under the ball, as I mentioned, and they're moving it very quickly either side.
Walker plays it back for Akanji. Now Bernardo Silva has it inside his half of the centre circle. He's played it across the Manchester City left. It goes back for Ake again. Ake to Kovacic. Play forward by Kovacic towards Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva almost on one knee under a little bit of pressure, but still able to poke the ball back to the City back line. Akanji now down for Walker. Foden coming to meet it, controlling the ball, making his way forward, losing out though to a well-timed chance by Al-Dakhil, and now Vitinho has it. Vitinho back to Zaroury. And the Moroccan plays it through to Connor Roberts on the right-hand side. Sander Berge back inside his own half. Jordan Bayer waiting for the ball from O'Shea. Actually gone back to the goalkeeper instead. Trafford taking another couple of touches and then plays to O'Shea. O'Shea to Roberts. City press with increasing intensity. And then Cullen receives it back to the direction of play, so he's forced to play it back inside his own penalty area for O'Shea. Burnley end up getting out of a tight little corner and concede a throw, which will be taken over on the Manchester City left. 2-0 they lead, and here's Andy Townsend.
Yep, and still trying to play their way out from the back in those tight areas. That's very much going to be something that they're going to continue to do. That's what they believe in. That's what's got them great success last year in the Championship. And it's tough. It's not easy to do. I admire them. You know, sometimes when you're two down in a match, it's very tempting to just knock it forward, serve it forward, try and play for the second ball and pick it up from there. That's not what Vincent Kompany and his boys do. You're not going to see that from them this year. They're going to continue to roll it around and try and play. And now Foden's made an excellent third-man run. He's got Haaland in the middle, but the ball was just a little bit too heavy from Phil Foden. And he goes out of play for a goal kick. Glorious opportunity there for Foden to find his man. He's claiming, I think with some justification, that the cross actually took a deflection. I don't know whether that's been spotted by the officials. He did take a deflection, you're right, Jim. He just couldn't quite find Erling Haaland there. They're 2-on-1 City. Had he have done so, that would have been a hat-trick for the centre forward, no doubt about that. But of course, because Burnley and the way they're now playing second half, they're playing that extra man in that forward position. They're trying to squeeze as high up the field as they can, but City are able to take a couple of passes, and a clever run is getting in behind Burnley time and time again.
So Manchester City seemingly destined to get off to a winning start. United get their season underway against turmoil-ridden Wolves, and our coverage starts at 7 Monday night, ahead of an 8 p.m. kickoff here on Talksport. Well, everybody set up for the corner because they all saw the deflection. The officials didn't, so it's going to restart with a goal kick.
It was pretty blatant, that one, wasn't it? I think it was quite straightforward to see that. Burnley about to make a change.
Vincent Kompany just calling Brun Larsen over as wants to give him a couple of thoughts. Burnley's change is going to see Benson coming on. I'm not sure who it is yet that's going to be replaced. So number 26 came up. They haven't got a number 26 on the field. Then they changed it to 36. They haven't got a 36 on the field. So who knows? But it's going to be Benson. Benson's going to be coming on.
You're waiting for the right number. Come on, you got one job. There it is. There it is.
Bayer, number 5. Like 36. So Benson coming on.
Here's number 10, Manuel Benson.
Samuel Benson, who scored in his last 4 appearances of last season, signed a new deal until 2027 this week. The Belgian winger, a dozen goals in that first Burnley campaign, and he comes on and will play through the middle, seemingly. Will hang out towards that right flank, and Brun Larsen's moved over to the left.
Yeah, and Alderkiel gone in as a centre half, replacing Jordan Boyer.
Coutinho for a moment dropping in at centre half as well. City looking long as Burnley just trying to reorganise their defensive line. Haaland trying to take advantage of that. Now the Keel has come across and fouled him, and it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by City about 10 yards outside the penalty area.
Done that a lot second half. They've gone longer, City, and they've tried to get Haaland in time and time again, and they've been close to doing it.
Haven't had a yellow card tonight.
No.
It's the first, we don't go on tonight, but the first club game Craig Portson's refereed where he hasn't shown a yellow since the 2021 season. 15 minutes to go. Free kick which will be taken by Manchester City. 10 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Little step over. Foden firing it in. Headed towards goal. They're trying to bundle it in. And as it breaks for Rodri, smashes it into the roof of the net. And Manchester City have a third. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3. The treble last season and a treble on the opening day of the new campaign. They mean business. No one has ever won 4 English League titles in a row, but City get their defence off to the best possible start.
Yeah, they've always been the more likely to score in this second period. It's a whipped free kick from Phil Foden right into the middle of the 6-yard box, right on the 6-yard line actually, centre of the goal. And the ball ends up just dropping down. Nathan Ake has a swish at it, and from about 4 or 5 yards out, Rodri slams it into the back of the net for 3 goals and 3 points on day 1.
Man that scored the winner in the Champions League final gets his first goal of this campaign. The VAR did check the goal for a possible handball, so the decision was a goal. We haven't seen a replay that would clarify things either way, or whether the ball had potentially hit Nathan Ake accidentally on the hand and bounced down. Because Rodri was the man that put it in, it would still count. If the ball had hit Rodri on the hand, it would have been disallowed.
Correct.
Kanji playing it forward long now. Phil Foden chases. Alderkiel, who's tiring, gets the ball across the edge of his own penalty area. Shea can knock it away. And Burnley are going to be able to bring it out of harm's way, and they'll look for Benson. Long ball chased down the Burnley right-hand side, and the Belgian's going to get there down by the corner quadrant, and it goes out of play for a throw on the Burnley right-hand side. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3. More action on the City bench now.
Yep.
Cole Palmer is going to be coming on. Emerick Laporte is getting ready for action, and we're also going to see Gvardiol.
Yeah, Gvardiol as well. So they're all going to get some minutes here, which again is sensible now with the game at 3-0. Get them all up to speed as quick as you can.
Meanwhile, a long Burnley throw to defend. Held inside the City penalty area. Ake got enough of a head to it. Foden had time to dig the ball out from between his feet to clear. Trafford sweeping up the Burnley goalkeeper almost on the edge of the centre circle as he whacks it back forward. And Akanji heads that out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Burnley left-hand side. 3-0 Manchester City lead with 12 minutes of normal time to go. Zaroury swinging it down towards the Burnley right-hand side here for Roberts, and then Zaroury will continue his run. Benson able to pick up possession, goes back towards halfway. Burnley visibly wilting, which it sounds as though it's a criticism. It isn't meant to be in any shape or form. It's just an observation that they've had to do so much chasing against the champions that they haven't had the intensity that they had earlier in the game. Haaland bringing it forward now for Manchester City, slips it off for Alvarez, taking a touch and a second, and gets a shot in with his third, but really well blocked by the covering Burnley back line. I think it was O'Shea threw himself into the line of fire, and Burnley are able to get it away. But City do look as though there's more in this for them yet.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Erling Haaland there very unselfishly actually rolling that one to Julian Alvarez to his left, who couldn't quite get the shot away before it was charged down. Haaland could have gone on his own, decided to roll it to his teammate, which again, next time he won't get it.
So here's Josko Gvardiol, the £77 million signing from RB Leipzig, on for his Manchester City debut and his Premier League debut as well. Such an impressive time he's had in the last two major tournaments with Croatia, one at left back and one at centre half. He's been fantastic in each of them. Reached the World Cup semi-final, and Gvardiol is on for his City debut. He's replaced Lewis, and Erling Haaland is also coming off.
Yeah, Haaland it is who's coming off. Looks like Cole Palmer on that far side has replaced the centre forward.
Burnley on the edge of their own penalty area, working it back to Trafford. They'll be swept forward down the right-hand side. Benson going up for it. It's done well to head it on towards the halfway line. Burnley doing well to win it back. It was excellent play by Foster, who leads the line with real vigour. Clarence able to bring it forward from the back now with Bayer. Adakil. Down towards the left-hand side for Jakob Brun-Larsen. Brun-Larsen looking as though he's going to come back inside, then teases it forward. Foster with an opportunity, slips it to his right-hand side. Shot comes in on the turn from Zarori, that's blocked. And Burnley are forced back towards halfway. It goes down towards the far touchline again. Benson, another opportunity to run at this Manchester City back line, and his ball in takes a deflection, goes out of play for a corner to Burnley over on the far touchline. 10 to go. Yeah,
he's been nice and positive actually, Emil Benson, since he's come on. Short corner taken, chance to deliver it in the box.
Benson urged to shoot by the Burnley supporters, and trying to get into a position to work it in with his left foot. He couldn't. Played down the right hand side of the penalty area though by Roberts. Zarori back out towards Benson again. Benson dropping his shoulder, getting towards the byline. He's done very well since coming on, and he's won another corner here from Kovacic.
Yep, good play, persistent play from Benson, good running, and then when he got the chance to just get at those City defenders, he did exactly that and earns his team a corner.
6 in the penalty area for Burnley. So they look for their first Premier League goal of the new campaign. Ball swept in. Brun-Larsen with a little flick header. It's gone over the bar, out of play for a goal kick. 9 minutes to go. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3. If you love Talksport, why not join the club today? You can link your Alexa and Talksport accounts. Just say, Alexa, ask News Broadcasting to log me in, or send a link to your Alexa app. You only need to do it once. You'll be part of the club of the world's biggest sports radio station, Talksport. 3-0 to Manchester City. Must admit, Andy, I didn't notice when Haaland came off what the body language was, the reaction between him and Pep.
Yeah, I think okay. He would love to have stayed on, of course he would. But I think, again, they've got such power, such strength in depth. So you use it, and it makes absolute sense that he's got a couple of goals. He'll be delighted that he's got rid of that little spell that everyone kept reminding him of.
No sheepishness from Haaland towards his manager after the incident at the end of the first half?
I actually didn't see it, Jim. I didn't see it at all. He didn't sprint off, that's for sure. He walked off, but you don't have to, do you? When you're 3 up, you walk off.
There's Cole Palmer. He'll be knocked away by O'Shea, and he's fouled. It's a free kick to Burnley. When everybody's got different managerial styles, you can think of plenty of managers in the past who wouldn't have approached that same situation the same way. Yep. There's no right or wrong, I guess, but is there a danger of alienating players when you do it as publicly as that, or not?
No, again, I think that you have to accept it when your number comes up for whatever reason.
No, it's more referring to the public dressing down, if you like, that he got at half-time. Here's Brun-Larsen playing inside the penalty area, and Burgess won another corner here for Burnley.
No, you wouldn't worry about that. What was said at half-time, that was for tactical reasons, for the right reasons. Second half, it happened. I think what he was talking about happened a lot more. Goalkeeper knocking 50-60 yards straight into the centre forward, and he was there to get him.
7 minutes to go. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3. Haaland with goals 1 and 2 for City. Rodri adding a third. Burnley looking for what at the moment would only be a consolation. Corner comes in, headed clear, out for Roberts, who chested it down and balloons it over the bar. And out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Edison.
Yeah, might have been better served there, Connor Roberts, getting that off his chest. Always tempting to him from the edge of the box, particularly, of course, when you're 3 down. Might have been better served there. Just keep it, get it wide. Could have rolled that out to Manuel Benson and then maybe look for another cross into the box. But they've been plucky, they've been game, they've had a plan, they've stuck to it. It's not easy against a team like this.
And now Edison has gone straight route one right through the middle for Phil Foden, and Phil Foden bringing down inside the penalty area, turns away, trying to set up Palmer taking a touch, works it across the penalty area for Alvarez. Burnley have got their shake back behind the ball very quickly. But that's clearly a tactic that Pep has wanted to see much more of in this second half, and they've delivered. I mean, Edison with a perfect long ball there forward and just didn't quite break Foden's way.
Yep, they've done that very well, haven't they? Recognising that Burnley are pressing and squeezing, they're going man for man. Well, if they're going to do that, then you've got to be careful that a 50-60 yard ball and a clever little run, Phil Foden's done it 3 or 4 times, from the right side of a front 3, running across Erling Haaland into that gully on the left side, and the goalkeeper pinging it 60-70 odd yards straight onto the end of his toe.
Kovacic inside the centre circle. Now Alvarez for Foden. Foden still looking busy, very upright style whenever he picks up possession. Back for Akanji to Rodri to Akanji again. Into the final 5 with City leading 3-0 here. And what's going to be only Burnley's 3rd defeat in their last 44 league games. But this not a result on which you can judge the likelihood of them having a successful season. I would think that despite the scoreline, there'll be many positive aspects for Vincent Kompany that will encourage him for the battles ahead. Here's Foden. Foden driving through the middle. Alvarez to his right, straight at the goalkeeper Trafford. And O'Shea is there to knock it away. And City still able to scythe through this tiring Burnley back line. Referee's now spotted an infringement. Play's going to be brought back. I think a foul on O'Shea. And it's going to be a free kick to Burnley 10 yards outside their own penalty area. But a chance for Alvarez.
Yeah, another chance for Alvarez. Good strike, but straight at the goalkeeper. Easily dealt with. Truth be told, City could have added another couple second half here. This could have been 5. On another day it will be. Again, no complaints, I don't think, from Vincent Kompany about the result. He might have even been thinking it could well be something like this morning. What will concern him that his team play their way, that they do what they believe in, and we've seen glimpses of that. I think I've seen enough here tonight to know that teams coming to Turf Moor are going to come up against a group of boys that are committed and that they want to play, they want to roll it around, they're going to try and find the right way to create those chances.
Well, it's currently Burnley 0, Manchester City 3, and for the latest odds head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get next team to score betting. Burnley 6-1, City 5-2, no more goals, 2-1 on. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org. 3 minutes of normal time to go, and well, 6 to be added, who knows, 6 or 7 would feel about right, as much as we're getting our head round the new way of measuring added time. Free kick to Manchester City here, which Foden's going to take on the City right. Alvarez is over there with him, so a chance for Foden to bend this in. Alvarez has actually tapped it to Foden, and Foden will run towards the edge of the area and then have a low optimistic shot towards the near post from 25 yards and drag it wide of that near post straight into the hoardings. Out of play. Trafford had it covered anyway, still 3-0.
Yeah, better second half for Phil Foden, seen more of the ball, had a little bit more room obviously, as the Burnley boys, as I mentioned earlier, have got tired as the game's gone on, and he's used that space to good effect. He's looked a lot more dangerous. First half, didn't always receive the ball in the areas where he would have liked to. And I think from City's point of view, that they're so accomplished now. They're such a machine, the way they go about their work. They keep doing what they do, and there's no sign of any real weakness. They had a 10-minute spell where Burnley got about them, pressed them hard, but of that aside, it's been a pretty emphatic performance.
Now Edison for Alvarez, trying to get the ball forward for Guardiola inside the penalty area. A marauding run forward from the debutant. They couldn't quite pick him out. and Bernley will be able to get it clear again. Not a player that's necessarily been brought for what he might be able to provide in the other penalty area. He's still in single figures in terms of goals in his club career. Here's Bernardo Silva, and he'll turn it away from Zaroury. Burnley, apart from that flurry of a couple of corners, have not really had too much to shout about the last 25 minutes or so.
They'll be shattered after as well, the players. They'll be absolutely exhausted because they really have committed to it and they've given everything they've got. And we mentioned earlier, no problems from Vincent Kompany in terms of effort, commitment, but they're just up against a ruthless outfit. They really are.
Well, those are thoughts of Andy Townsend, the former Republic of Ireland captain. Here's Kovacic, back for Akanji, he's given it away. And now a chance for Burnley to be able to bring it forward. Left-hand side of the penalty area. They've got Benson making way to the middle. Foster can't get into a position to deliver. Has he won a corner off Akanji? Yes, he has.
Just watching Manuel Akanji's face there. He just carelessly gave the ball to Foster. And he's kicking himself and he's cursing himself as he gets back to his position. The City look to deal with this corner.
3-0 City lead. Burnley's corner taken just before we go into stoppage time. Right-footed in very deep and easily headed away. It's going to be brought down by Connor Roberts. Roberts forced under pressure to turn it all the way back for Trafford as we go into 6 additional minutes at the end of this game. Here's a minimum of 6. The 6 are going to be elongated because Burnley are going to make another double change. And Sander Berge is going to come off and he'll be replaced by Brownhill for stoppage time. What have you made of Berge's debut?
He's a bit one-pace, Sander Berge. He's a big, tall guy. He's elegant. He's nice with the ball at his feet. Haven't seen too much of him second half, really. I think, again, it's just the pace and the intensity of Premier League football that might be the difficulty for him.
So Berge off, Brownhill on. They've also taken Lars Foster off and replaced him with another debutant, Nathan Redmond, who signed on a free from Beşiktaş and has scored 6 goals in Turkish football last season. A man with more than 250 Premier League appearances behind him. And he's come on. He can play anywhere across that forward line of 3, so playing through the middle at the moment. And the man of the match, according to the sponsors, Foster.
Right.
It's always going to be a Burnley player when it's home sponsors, but you'd say he's been game.
He has. He certainly has. Every time he's got it second half, he's tried to run and make something of it. He's just lacked the support at times, but certainly given absolutely everything.
Brownhill playing it out from the back. Cullen can help it further forward, just hooking it with his right foot. Redmond will willingly chase it. Well, the ball goes back to the goalkeeper and it'll be cleared by Ederson for Manchester City. Ederson, who kept 18 clean sheets last season, hoping for his first, not too far away. Now Walker has gone down there after a very poor challenge from Zaroury, and Craig Pawson reached for the yellow card. Now he's put it back in his pocket for the time being. Is he going to reconsider? No, it is the yellow. He's produced the card now, and he still has gone more than 3 years without a domestic game, without a booking. As Walker chasing forward and just got caught.
Yeah, he did. Zaroury's always second best there. It's not a good challenge, I've got to tell you. It's not a good challenge at all. I tell you, it's a bad challenge. I've just seen another angle there. It's a nasty challenge. It's worthy of a red. It really is.
Well, the VAR is having a look at it. I wonder whether Craig Pawson's going to be called over to the monitor here. He is. And I wonder whether also he thought about going for a straight red, because he showed the yellow. He got the yellow card out. He put it back in his pocket as if he was just thinking, I might go red here. Then he showed the yellow, and now he is having a look, and I think that it is going to end up being a red card. It was a poor challenge. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball, but Zaroury, in going in, has gone 6 studs right down the side of Kyle Walker's leg.
Yeah, and he's done it to stop him, Jim. He's done it to bring him to the floor. I think one thing is if you go in with a stretched toe there and you trip someone up. When you go with all studs showing there, all studs blazing, if you like, you run the risk of being on the end of a red, and I think it should be.
Well, Craig Pawson comes back and he draws the TV screen with his hands as he makes his way back on the field, and this is going to be an upgrading of the yellow card to a red. The yellow card will be shown to the crowd, and Craig Pawson will cancel that and now produces the red. So Zaroury off, and Burnley will end the game with 10 men.
Yeah, the fans don't like it. Of course, they've only had one glimpse at it. Once they all go home and maybe when they watch it, they'll realise why it was given.
So Zaroury will get a suspension. And that'll be frustrating for Vincent Kompany. And Manchester City are going to make a change. Walker, after that, is coming off, and he's going to be replaced by James McAtee, who made a couple of substitute appearances in the Premier League back in the 21-22 season. Really excelled on loan at Sheffield United last year. And McAtee comes on to replace Walker.
What I would say, it's a real shame. It's not been that sort of game at all. I mentioned the Burnley performance has been a committed one, but they haven't overstepped the mark, I don't think, in any other situation. Just there, Zaroury did.
Ball is swept inside the penalty area. City look for a fourth, and but for a smart save from Trafford, diving to his left-hand side. They might have had it. Ball fired inside the box. It was a strong header from Laporte. Trafford dived down to his left-hand side and made a decent save. So here's Redmond now playing on the left-hand side for the 10 men of Burnley. We're in the 6th added minute, but stoppage time is going to be elongated because of the substitutions, the red card and the VAR review. Ball back for Trafford, probably still another 3 minutes to go. Brownhill out towards the far touchline, and still Manchester City with good work rate. McAtee there, making sure that there's no easy possession for Burnley. Ball out of play for a throw in their right back position. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3.
Yeah, and the Burnley fans are just starting to get up from their seats and make their way towards the exits, but they've stayed with their team all night. They really have. I think they'll get a very generous reception when the referee finally calls time on this evening's proceedings.
O'Shea clearing for Burnley towards Benson, and now Brun Larsen back out towards Benson again. Benson coming down the right hand side and flicked out of play by Gvardiol. Out of play for a throw. He's playing out left back Gvardiol. He did that for Croatia in the European Championships in 2021. Played at centre half in the World Cup, but really made his name in club football as a left back. Here's Trafford, Burnley goalkeeper, controlling the ball, and then Alvarez sprinted towards it. Trafford very quickly dispensed with it, got it into Manchester City territory. Benson can't hold it up though. City win it back, and we'll work it back inside their own half for Edison. 7 minutes of stoppage time play. Rodri bringing it forward. Burnley got a player down injured now. Rodri alive to that fact. Chips the ball out of play so that he can receive treatment. And the game just sort of petering out now.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, at 3-0 down with seconds left on the clock, I don't think it would be wrong of Craig Pawson to blow the whistle any time now.
Well, Burnley fans not happy for what they thought was a foul by Gvardiol on Benson. Benson has had some treatment. Now he's gone off the field, and it's going to be an obligatory 30 seconds off the field, and with the new regulation, something else that we'll be getting used to over the next few weeks or so. Play restarted with a throw. The referee was absolutely adamant there was no foul. And Manchester City had possession inside their own half with Rodri. Just about to tick into the 9th minute of stoppage time. Manchester City leading 3-0 with the 2 Haaland goals in the first half, and Rodri adding one from a scramble inside the penalty area from a corner in the second. Rodri has it again now, flicks it away from Redmond, and that is that. And Manchester City get their defence of the title off to the perfect start. An excellent performance from them. Only took Erling Haaland 3 minutes and 3 seconds to score the first goal of the new Premier League season. He swiftly added a second before half-time. Rodri completed the victory. Manchester City are up and running, and plenty of positives for Burnley as well to suggest that while they got off to a losing start, they will win the ultimate battle of survival and more besides. But this one finishes as expected in a win for the champions. Burnley 0, Manchester City 3.